Welcome to Storytellers with a Message. This is where I share real stories about real people. I'm Lori Grant, and I'm committed to capturing the moments and lessons that shape our lives. Together, we'll explore stories that teach, inspire, and remind us that everyone has a story worth telling. It was a last-minute invitation. Well, I suppose it really wasn't last minute, but I was unaware of the event. I went to lunch with my friend Alicia. She mentioned she was going to a water lantern festival. She asked if I was interested in going with her, and a few others. Well, heck yeah. I'd seen some pictures, but I'd never actually seen the event in living color. It looked like something I would love. There was a park about 20 minutes from my house where the event would be taking place. The event started at 5:30, and sunset wasn't until 8:30. We assumed we had plenty of time to get there if we left my house by 5:30. But the 20-minute drive ended up being about an hour and a half. The traffic getting into the park was miles long. Who knew this would be so popular? We parked the car, grabbed our lawn chairs, and walked up the small grassy hill toward the lake. There, at the top of the hill, was the main area of the festival. As typical for festivals like these, there were food trucks and souvenir trucks and a live music stage. And a bit further down the path stood the colorful tents where we would show our tickets and collect our lanterns. We grabbed our lanterns and headed over to sit with our friends who had already set up close to the lake under a beautiful tree. As people kept pouring into the park, we sat with our friends enjoying their company and getting our lanterns put together. The construction of the lantern was easy, even for me, which says a lot. It had a flat bottom piece with 4 small holes, one in each of the 4 corners, and a spot in the middle where the battery-operated tea light would sit. It also had 4 small sticks that fit into those 4 holes, and a white piece of paper that fit perfectly around the outsides of the sticks to form the lantern. The package also included 1 marker. It was either blue or red or black, and it was used to decorate the white paper for the lantern. Well, over to our right, there were a group of young adults sitting on a blanket, working on their lanterns. They had all kinds of art supplies for the creation of their lanterns. Obviously, they had brought them with them. They had done this before. They had a package of markers of every color. They had stickers and glue and glitter and who knows what else was over there. I'm not an artist, at least not when it comes to drawing, painting, and such. In fact, that might be one of the things I feel most self-conscious about. My lack of artistic talent has been publicly brought to my attention more than a couple of times. My hand is so sloppy, I often have a hard time reading my own writing. This weakness quickly rears its ugly head in a game of Pictionary. Believe me, it's just as hard for me to draw something recognizable as it is for anyone to guess what it is. So when I looked at the artists off to my right and then to the blank white paper in my lap, I might have felt a small wave of insecurity. But quickly I realized this event could be whatever we wanted it to be. Our friends that had arrived before us had completed their lanterns, and they had them either back in the bag or under their chairs. I realized this had nothing to do with the artwork and everything to do with the heart of the person creating it. So Alicia and I quietly went to work creating our lanterns. Our friend Lisa had a blue marker, and Alicia and I both had a red marker that was put into our packages. So that's what we used. As the lantern had 4 sides, I used 2 of the sides to put words, a couple of my favorite Bible verses. On the other 2 sides, I just drew some red hearts. Very simple, but meaningful to me for multiple reasons, none of which I shared. I know Alicia put words on hers, but I don't know what they were, nor did I ask. We stuck our completed lanterns under our chairs and continued our great conversation with our friends as we watched the beautiful sunset. As the sun faded and the park became dark, the little tea lights started lighting up the lanterns all around us. It reminded me of fireflies as they flickered all around the park. There were thousands of them. The music had changed from live music to calm, gentle acoustic music playing over the sound system. It's really hard to describe how beautiful it was. And then the best part. People started getting up and making the short walk to the shoreline to launch their lanterns in the lake. There were no rules as to where you had to put your lantern in the lake, or even if you had to actually launch it. There was a gentle breeze, so if the lantern was launched upwind, it would drift slowly across the lake, eventually gathering with the others on the other side. There was no mad rush, just a constant flow of people putting their lanterns in the water and watching them drift away. So much symbolism here. Each lantern was like a prayer. Each represented a life and something that person wanted to express at that moment, be it joy, gratitude, love, sorrow, or loss. After our lanterns had drifted away, Alicia and I went back to another area of the park to watch the display of lanterns as they drifted across the water. Some floated in large groups, some in pairs, and some as individual units as they made their way across the lake to the shore on the other side. Some of the lanterns, depending on where they were launched, had a much further distance to travel than the others. We also noticed that some of them quickly drifted to the middle of the lake with little or no prompting, but others took a few moments to move at all, as if hesitant to make the trip. After a few minutes of watching the lanterns at a distance, Alicia and I walked down to the shoreline where the lanterns had finished their journey. We wanted to see if we could make out any of what was represented there. We saw pictures and words, simple and complex. We spotted lanterns that were obviously created by children and lanterns that felt overwhelmingly anonymous with no clear message at all. And of course, there were those that spoke boldly of what they wanted to communicate. So here's my message. As I watched the hundreds of lanterns travel across the lake that evening, I was reminded of the simple human need we have to express our emotions. Everyone carries stuff. Everyone. It's not age specific or race or gender specific. It has nothing to do with education level or marital status. Simply put, it's just part of living. We all have hopes and dreams, sorrow and loss. Although we travel through life in different ways, we truly are all connected. As each unique lantern quietly floated away, each carrying its own prayer, I was reminded that we are all very different and yet very much the same. However, it was the collection of all of the lanterns coming together and peacefully floating across the lake that made the event so spectacular. This has been Storytellers with a Message. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the subscribe button and leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It truly helps others find the podcast. And if you have a story to tell, I love to hear from you. You can email me at storytellerswithamessage@gmail.com. To explore my children's books or learn more about my work, visit www.loriDgrant.com. Until next time, I'm Lori, wishing you joy and peace.